So I have Joe Mixon, and then I have Najee Harris here.
So, I like contrasting those two specifically.
Yeah, okay.
So Najee Harris is a highest end bell cow. That means Pittsburgh's win-loss record doesn't really matter. Ideally, in wins, he gets enough carries to return RB1 levels of production. Ideally, in losses, he gets enough targets to return RB1 levels of production. And Pittsburgh's offensive line is bottom 5. It doesn't really matter for Najee Harris because he's already one of the best receiving running backs in football. And so when Pittsburgh's offensive line is failing to create space, they can just as easily replace Harris's touches on the ground with touches in a short to quick passing game. Joe Mixon is not a highest end bell cow. He's a highest end workhorse. He just doesn't see enough targets to qualify. Therefore, Cincinnati's win-loss record is crucially important, as is the strength of their offensive line. These are all concerns for non-bell cows. This is a massive concern for Derrick Henry. The thing with Mixon is it's not at all a concern if we think Cincinnati is going to win more games, have better positive game script, and their offensive line is going to be better. Cincinnati led on only 34% of their plays last season. That ranked 18th most. This year, they're projected to finish 6th best in win percentage. Their offensive line, 13th worst in PFF run block grade last year, is now probably top 8 following the additions of Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, Lyle Collins. And so he's not a bell cow. He's a game script dependent workhorse, but game script's going to be good. The offensive line is going to be good. Like, this team is going to smash. This is an offense you want. And this was one of the most run-heavy offenses when leading last year. The offense really ran through Joe Mixon. And then you could even make a case that he should be a bell cow because, I mean, I've been arguing that since college. And then last year, the decision to keep Samaje Perine in that third down role, you can argue literally cost the team a Super Bowl victory. It was 3rd and 1, Super Bowl on the line. Samaje Perine, I think, a target 0 yards. 4th and 1, Super Bowl on the line. Samaje Perine carry 0 yards. You can make a case that maybe he should be a bell cow, but I've heard beats saying he's getting a lot more targets this year, not on 3rd or 4th down. But just like tea leaf reading the quotes from Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan, I don't think his role is going to change really. Maybe a few more targets. I could definitely see that. So like all of these, I think I should like Joe Mixon more than I do. But he's RB12. And it's just like, I just like the other guys and I see more upside. But I do really like Joe. I think if you want to take Joe Mixon RB6, I might have had him RB6 last year, honestly. And I don't have a problem with it. Najee Harris, I have RB6, and this is something you could talk me down on. Graham just kind of made the best case where he's like, he's the ultimate bell cow. You're the bell cow guy. You need to have him RB6 or better. And it's hard to agree with that. So the best stats you can look at is snaps, weighted opportunity, or if you have XFP like I do, which is just basically a better weighted opportunity, looking at those by total numbers, per game numbers, market share numbers. And it was just clear Najee Harris was head and shoulders above anyone else. He was first in snaps per game, first in weighted opportunity percentage, first in snap share, second XFP per game. He was one of just 6 running backs in NFL history with at least as many carries and as many targets as he had in a single season. We've talked about this before. Mike Tomlin is just as much of a bell cow proponent as I am, and like rivaled by no one. The problems with Harris are that the offensive line is bad. The team is going to be bad. The thing is, I don't see how the offensive line is worse. I don't see how the offense or quarterback play is worse. I just don't think it's going to be significantly better. And that's what I keep walking back to. But my model loved him. I loved him. I had him as a Steven Jackson type, archetypal bell cow. And that's what he showed us in year 1. So it's just hard to avoid that volume.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue to lower Najee at all. Opportunity. nobody's going to see more than him. I mean, he is a lock for that, even if things around him haven't improved much. They did add a couple linemen that it can't get worse than what it is. So, Big Ben was a corpse at that stage. Maybe Pickett or Trubisky or whoever wins that. It's Rudolph at this point, who knows? Can't be much worse than what Big Ben was. So I think Najee is what you got last year. Maybe they try to reduce it a little bit, but Tomlin never has. 24.7 opportunities whenever he's had a Bell or a James Conner, or now Najee, his new guy. No argument for me. I can't really argue to lower him. I would say maybe reconsider Mixon a little bit just for all the reasons you said. There's nothing. He was a game.
I know.
All those things were true about him. Game script dependent. He only got 17% of the long down and distance work, 42% of the 2-minute. All that was true last year, and he still finished as the RB4. Now he gets a better line, probably better game scripts because this offense should just take yet another step forward. And I think one thing that nobody's talking about with the Bengals, not enough people are talking about the offensive line. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's going to be literally night and day. The best holes this guy has ever seen in his professional career. He hasn't had a good line yet. So I'm just stoked for that. It's huge. But another thing is when Zach Taylor first got to the Bengals, they were among the fastest paced teams in the NFL. They were first in plays, 8th in situation neutral pace, like passed a bunch, which I guess the pass rate might not help Mixon. Although, again, I agree with your case. He should be the third down guy, but they were a pedal to the metal kind of team. Maybe that was by necessity because they just weren't that good. But now they were 24th and 24th in plays, 30th in pace. If they just move that up a little bit because they have a better line, and you've already heard Tyler Boyd reference, we can go no huddle all game with how comfortable we now feel in this offense. If they pick that up a little bit, and that means Mixon's in there, kind of like what I was saying with Jonathan Taylor. To me, Mixon's kind of like a Jonathan Taylor light in a way. Touchdown dependent, game script dependent, but gets it done because those two things are working in his favor. I think this could be even closer. He could close the gap even more between himself and Taylor by getting 20-ish touchdowns within this offense this year. So I think the argument you made for Mixon was perfect. I don't see why he's not a little bit higher for you in that case.
I mean, I just agree. Every time I look at the rankings, I say the same thing. I don't know. We'll have to touch back on this. See if we can bump Henry down another spot or something.
Maybe that's what it takes. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.